Hello there. This is Oscar W. Fitchett with a bit of pre-podcast audio for you all. This is the very first episode of And We're Rolling that you're about to watch/listen to. And this is with the first guest is with my very good friend Gary Bradshaw. One thing I do want to have to say within this show, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not, don't worry about it, but if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a point in this where Gary's video, it goes out of sync with the audio, so I just want to apologize for that, but just if you hear audio and you see Gary and his mouth isn't moving in the right place, it's the way that it's just happened. But aside from that, this episode is relatively went smoothly. There is an issue that happens in about the 30-minute mark. So, again, that's more of a video thing and an audio thing. Just the whole show. There's just something that happens in there. I'm not going to say any more. I'll now pass you on to me from earlier, from yesterday as the time of recording this. But yeah, I'll let you get to the episode now. Enjoy. Now, okay, Gary, let's count down on a count of 3. We go 1, 2, 3. We both clap, and then that should sync up everything in it as well, right?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Do another one just in case. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then that should be all right then. And we're rolling. Episode 1. Being joined by Gary Bradshaw. Gary, how are you?
I'm not so bad.
This is right. Didn't expect the first episode of this show to be under these circumstances. As you can see, you are the only person in the pub because everyone is social distancing except for you.
Yeah. yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But also, for anyone who doesn't know Gary, if you're familiar with me, then you know Gary. If you're familiar with Heel, then you know Gary. If you're not familiar with Gary or Heel, and you just so happen to stumble on this show through Spotify or anything else that the podcast audio is now on, which it's on quite a few things. Gary is a long-time best friend of mine, and by long-time my best friend, I mean literally, how long is it now? 2006 we've known each other for.
Yeah.
So that makes... So this July,
13.
that means we would know each other for 14 years.
Yeah.
So there you go. Childhood friend of mine. He's been through me through all my misadventures. And you were the first person to actually know about this endeavour of And We're Rolling.
I have. Yes, I was.
Yeah, and you first got informed that, well, yeah, I'm thinking of ending Heel. Like, that was the first thing that I remember.
That took me by surprise. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And I said, why? And then it made sense. I mean, we discussed that in the final Heel cast, and it's always kind of been a point of discussion of us wanting to do a podcast of some sort anyway, just generally, because I think we like doing the Heel casts.
Oh, yeah, the Heel cast was so much fun.
The thing is, though, I like doing the Heel cast to an extent, because I like doing them when when the Heel cast seemed to know what they were, but we changed the Heel cast up so many times that it kind of became like what was the Heel cast at that point? Like, there was a point when it was just audio, then we experimented with video a few times, then we went back to just audio, then we tried to make it weekly, then I broke my foot, then that didn't work, and then it was just kind of like, I don't know, and then because they were film-based stuff, weren't they? And then there was a period of time when I remember trying, no, let's just do them about anything. But then it was like, well, it's kind of confusing. So But yeah, I remember saying to you, like, this show, I just wanted it to be about anything and everything. Yeah, but how have you been coping
I've been alright.
in this pandemic society that we're in right now?
Well, I've been coping alright actually. Yeah. I don't. To be honest, sometimes I really don't know if there's a lockdown or pandemic happening, because I never used to do anything anyway with my life. Like, I'm always at home, so I'm just used to being at home, and yeah. Sometimes I do forget that there is a lockdown.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, my plan was to always have you as the first guest of And We're Rolling. It wasn't even really because, I mean, we tried the format out when we did the top 10 favourite films of 2019 and the final Heel cast, where it was just you and me sat with microphones just chatting. And that was basically going to be the first episode of And We're Rolling. But, you know, stuff's happened. I remember saying in episode 0 that I said that, you know, we might need to wait after this pandemic thing is ironed itself out before we actually get to it. But it's kind of unsure what state the UK, the world really, but I'm speaking of the UK because we're both UK citizens and we both live in the UK so that's the thing that we can only comment on. Because there's things about maybe mid-June, that was like the thing that maybe, but then there's also been talks like maybe things won't be like, I mean, isolation might lift by then, but
social
we
distance
don't know.
Measures will be still in place.
Yeah, so we don't even know what that would even mean as such. Like, it's all a big question mark right now, this whole thing. It's mad times. It's crazy times right now. And, yeah, and it's one of these things where, I don't know, like when things will even go back to normal, even, really.
If they go back to normal.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's mental, I think. And I don't know. I'm curiosity, Gary, because this fits within this whole situation. What's things that you are missing just from... Yeah, because I was thinking about that earlier when I was in the shower. I was like, God, like, there's so many things that, like, I didn't realize that I would miss that I have been.
Well, I think about it every day. Every day I get like a moment to think, and I just think, like, what do I miss? Like, well, I miss going out. I do go out now, but
I wasn't going to say anything.
How
does it feel breaking the law, Gary?
I feel kind of shit, to be honest, but but I do keep my distance between people. Like, I do follow the social distance measures. Like, I don't touch things, but I should be fine, I guess, but who knows. But things I do miss is, like, going out with food or seeing friends, for example. Like, I haven't seen you in, like, a good couple of months now, and, like,
we've been Skyping.
Oh, of course, yes, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, of course, that I miss, it's cinema.
Oh,
that's
cinema.
Like a big thing.
Yeah, I miss seeing films as well.
It's meant right, Gary. Think about this. If this thing wasn't happening, we would have seen No Time to Die.
Oh, mate,
we would have seen that a month ago. That would have been a thing that we saw a month ago.
2nd of April, wasn't it? Something.
It was the 1st of April, I think.
Was it the 1st? I don't know. I was wrong then.
Yeah. And we would have seen Mulan, which I was genuinely looking forward to.
Same, I was looking forward to Mulan.
Yeah. So, like, this... Spiral would have been approaching, and I would have been hyping for that. Deadlines for me would have been different. But that's uni deadlines would have been a different thing. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like... That is not a thing. Like, cinema is not there. Yeah, and that's a big question mark of like when that will even be going back to any form of normality, like because again we don't really like we keep hearing like measures will be put in place, but we don't know what measures are, like what that even means really.
But there is talks that Greg's and McDonald's will be opening soon.
Yeah.
And it's even talk that, I don't know if it's fake news or anything, that Wetherspoons might be opening soon. Like
I've been hearing that.
June or July or whatever. It's like,
I've been hearing that, yeah.
oh, we just passed the peak. Why they just want to like all blow it up now? Like they've done all this and it's just gonna do it all over again.
I genuinely think we need to see what it's like in mid-June. Genuinely, I think that's
before we start making decisions.
Yeah, and because I mean I'm not a medical aficionado, nor am I a political aficionado either. So I don't know, like I don't have that stance of like I'm not one of these people who are like on social media just being like the government should be doing this is because I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know anything.
There's a lot of people not on social media.
Yeah, like, oh, ridiculous. This is what should be done. It's like, well, I don't know what should be done because it's not a thing we've ever experienced in our lifetimes. It's never been an experience. And yeah, and again, it's like I said to you earlier, the fact it's like we're in this century's plague. Like this is what this is. The thing is, back then, you just died.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was just the thing.
That was when the last plague happened, wasn't it? It was 1918 or something. Something to do with World War One.
Yeah. So it was like you just died.
Yeah, there's not totally different healthcare than now. Yeah,
it's a different world then.
Oh,
like we're in different worlds and everything. So so we can't even learn from that really. We can't even be like, well, this is how it's like, because that was a different thing anyway. That was just disease and stuff and whatnot. I mean, this is disease as well, but this is like a big like it's crazy. Like certain things, I think that when you look back at certain films as well, like that's the thing that like it's crazy how some films are like very like, Jesus, that was kind of like accurate. Or like into some extent, like I haven't seen Contagion, but you know people are like, Jesus, this is like, and that was 9 years ago.
I've seen Contagion actually. I've actually got it on DVD. I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean I want to give it a go anyway. I heard it's good, but yeah, like that. And there's the film Outbreak from 1995, which again I haven't seen. I've only seen Pre-Butchett's commentary sample of it. And I'm very curious to see if I could ever get through a podcast without mentioning Pre-Butchett or Eric Striffler to any extent. So far, that hasn't been the case. No, in episode 0, I haven't, but I mentioned it in the Final Heel cast anyway. But like that film, like Outbreak, the premise of that is like a guy that catches a monkey. And then the monkey passes this disease onto this dude, and then this dude goes on this plane and then flies back home, and then it just spreads.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what we're in, to some extent now. Even things like small, like earlier today, I watched Mark Maron's recent comedy special that was released. March. It was released 10th of March, and it's called, I think it's called End Times All. I think that's what it's called, or something like that. There's a moment where he makes a joke about saying about how that one time there will be like the end of the world, and that's like he's talking more from like a biblical sense, but like as an atheist really, he's talking like it's some random bullshit. Like there's gonna be end of the world, and you know we're all assholes to each other, and that will be the time that we realize we actually have to like shape up and actually be all right with each other. And that was March 10th this year, so it's like stuff like that is kind of crazy and everything. But I remember like this shows people's obliviousness so well, I think. In the sense, like, when it was happening in China, people were like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, people think, oh, this is not going to come over here.
No, yeah, it's because it's fiction to them. It doesn't. There's no reason for them to think that. It's not affecting their perfect little bubble. And then it comes over to Europe, like Italy, and then people's reactions like, oh, well, I guess I just won't go to Italy then. You know what I mean? It's like oh, well, that's shit then. And then it's been more noticeable in the UK, and then even people up here, because we're from the northeast of England, we're hearing, oh, in London, it's happening in London. Even to us, London is its own thing. That's like that to me, like that, like to most people, even me, London is still separate from us because it's its own entity, its own bubble. But then when you start hearing about, there's been cases found here, there's been cases found here, there's been cases found here, and then it becomes a thing of like reality, and it's crazy, and it is it's weird. It's weird times. I think people are unsure about it all because there is no end date to it. There's no like
not until the vaccine is found.
That's what, like, there's no like, and now it has ended. It's like, no, it's just like we have to wait, and we just have to assume. But that's why I wanted to kind of do the podcast this way as well, through remotely, because I've realized we can do that, and I mean,
technology to it, haven't we?
I don't know how this setup's working now, in a sense, if people are unsure.
Find out until you edit it.
yeah, if people are unsure how this is working right now, Gary and I are talking. There's probably easier ways to do this, but this is just a way how I thought would be best to do this. Gary and I are talking through Skype. I've got my own recording set up with a microphone recorded onto my MacBook. Gary doesn't have a microphone, so he's recording his audio through his phone. So that's how this is going.
I should have borrowed your microphone before the lockdown.
If only we thought. If only.
No, we didn't think of that time, did we?
No, well, there's a lot. Like, there's people in my university who, I don't think there's many, but there's a few people who are just in their accommodations. Still. Like yeah, because they were just there, and then lockdown happened, and then they just how could they leave?
I can't think of a worse thing to do. You haven't seen your family for months, man.
I mean, it depends, like, how much you like your family.
I guess. They must be so bored. Like, they can't go to shops or anything.
No, you can go to shops. That's because that's essential.
Supermarkets are.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, have a PlayStation or something to keep you occupied. I guess they're still doing uni work as well, so they should be alright. It's just, I don't think it would affect them that much because they would be in uni anyway, wouldn't they? So they'd be still in the accommodation. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah. They were there for Easter break because this happened before Easter break.
Oh yeah, in 2 weeks.
But yeah, that's an interesting thing from our perspective. But yeah, that's the thing that I could briefly mention is that because we talked about it very briefly in the final Heelcast, which I like to think of and we're rolling as the sequel to the Heelcast to some extent, even though it is a separate entity entirely. But I mentioned the fact how I was doing a film for university called The Muse. God, yeah. And that has to just not happen now. Like, that's a thing that just has to not happen. And it's not like these Hollywood films that they just get put on hold. Like, my film was for my degree, and so by the time we can go back to university, we can't even start it again because we'll be on a new module. So it's like, well, guess the Muse has to be put on hold.
That's if you go back.
yeah, that's a thing that like I can't even think about because it's I don't even know how. In this, I don't even know what could even happen then. I don't even know what's the possibility there. That's literally that's a thing that needs to just be wait. We just need to wait.
You'll be finishing soon anyway, wouldn't you? All together. June.
My final deadline originally was the 13th of May, so it would be less than 2 weeks away now that I would be finishing anyway. But obviously stuff's been extended. My final deadline is the 27th of May, which is fine, whatever. But yeah, that's a weird thing, and that's just like I just have to wait and see about all that, about like what happens with that. But my film that was gonna get made this year isn't until further notice.
Still going about that first. I'm so looking forward to it.
I know, man. I'm not going to say anything about the film. I'm still keeping it an absolute mystery.
Yeah, because you never know when you might come back to it.
I mean, there's people out there who know exactly what happens in the film, but
only uni pals and that.
Yeah, only that. But yeah, so that's the thing that's happened. However, didn't stop me from releasing a film within lockdown. Now, did it? A few months ago, we shot a thing. I think it might have been October time.
I think it was,
November.
Yeah.
October, November time. That feels about right. And that was called Threads, and you can find that on the RNQ Films YouTube channel. Links will be the link. I'll put a link in the description box.
Oh, yeah, this podcast goes at your personal YouTube, isn't it?
Yes, it does. As well as it goes on to Spotify and anything else that's on there. So if you're listening or watching, you can find a link to the short film Threads in the description. I remember telling you that I had this idea for that, because let's talk a little bit about Threads. Why not?
Actually, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because this is the first time we would have ever spoken about it. It's not even a massive groundbreaking thing, really. I remember saying to you I was I was bored. This came after just a really long and just day of uni that I had, and I just wanted to kind of like, and I was, because I go through peaks and valleys with it, within university with filmmaking. I go through moments where I absolutely love it, and then I just absolutely hate it, and I don't want to keep doing it. But I do really want to keep doing it, because why the fuck else? What the fuck else would I do? And this was one of these times where I was like, God damn it, this sucks so badly. And I kind of wanted to like remind myself why I actually like it. Excuse me. And I remember just messaging you if you wanted to like meet up and just film something randomly. And I thought about this idea about like, because we both love post-rock. We both love the genre of post-rock. My favorite song ever is The Mighty Rio Grande by This Would Destroy You, a post-rock song. And I realized like, oh, you don't get post-rock music videos. Like, that's not a thing that really happens. There's a few. There's like very little. I can't pronounce the name of the band. Sigurus.
Yes, they're well known. They're a well known post-rock band.
Yeah.
You probably heard one of those songs on a trailer or something.
Yeah, but they've got a music video that for one of their songs that stars Shia LaBeouf, and that's like one of the only ones I can really think about. But I thought like, hey, how about we actually like just do a daft experimental post-rock music video, and we just met up, gave you the camera, the 4K camera, which is up on the shelf, which I'm not going to grab right now, and you just shot stuff, And I didn't really. I just did. We just did things, and I was like, get the shot of me running. I'm gonna look sad now. Get a shot of me looking sad. Like, that's kind of like how it worked, and I knew exactly what song I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to do the song "Threads." From this was. I knew I wanted the first post-rock music video that we've done. I'm saying first because I mean, I'm not sure if you would agree. There's a big possible chance that we could just do more.
Oh, definitely.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like I wanted it to be a "This Would Destroy You" song because but I didn't want to tackle the Mighty Rio Grande.
Not yet, anyway.
No, I want to build to that. So I was looking for like a shorter post-rock song because Jesus Christ, they're so long.
Yeah, definitely.
So on the self-titled album by This Would Destroy You, Threads is one of the shorter ones. I think it's like 5 minutes or something odd like that. So I thought that would be a good one to do. And then, you just did that. You just filmed me doing that. Because the plan was as well for that to be a film that's where I experiment with Premiere Pro. Because I'm still very new to Premiere Pro.
Is that what you did it on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and because Premiere Pro is still very new to me. That's the thing that I use for university, so I'm familiar with it for that reason, but I'm not, I've been in iMovie for life, started on Windows Movie Maker. The things that was Knucklehead stuff, DBW, and Just Cause Mason Jackson Mission. Those are the Windows Movie Maker stuff. And iMovie was everything else. Everything else was iMovie, including review. All the Heel, everything at Heel was iMovie. Like all the way from Big Bark all the way to Untitled was all edited on iMovie. So I wanted to experiment a bit more with Premiere, and I thought this would be a good way to do it because the whole thing was meant to just be an experimental thing. Because I think the closest thing to us doing anything experimental before then was the end of year videos. But even the end of year videos, even they had some sort of narrative to them. They,
Definitely, yeah.
There's a story in them, especially the newest one. That is just a straight up short film. That is just a straight up short film.
It was very good as well. Very good.
But I remember. But with Threads, I just kind of want, and I thought, well, with this one to be a very our first experimental short, what better way to just experiment with Premiere Pro? Because if I fuck up in Premiere Pro, it doesn't matter. Then it's like, all right, whatever. And I remember we shot that in October, November. I want to say it was October. It feels more closer to October, I think.
I can't remember.
It feels like, I think I was still quite new to university, so I think October. Yeah, it must have been October. But I remember we did it, and I just didn't touch it. Not for any reason, but I was just busy doing other things. I was just busy doing uni and sorting out the end of year video and sorting out the epic final cut. That's just what was happening then. And then I wanted to chill, and then university came back, and then I came back from Christmas. But then in lockdown, when lockdown happened, I was like, I can finally get to this. Thing. And I just looked through it. I put the song on. I didn't know it was going to be all I knew, it was going to feature that footage, and it was going to feature that footage, and it was going to have the song Threads in it. I knew that's exactly what it was going to be. But I didn't know it was going to be I didn't know the story that it was going to have. I didn't know the visual style of it. But, that's kind of what happened. It just...
Even I said, oh, why do we make it like the aspect ratio?
Because I sent you a test footage that I did of it, where I, just gave it a bit of an effect, and I overlaid the slow motion of the waves crashing with the footage of me with just the footage, and I just sent you that with a bit of film grain look to it. I was like, I kind of want to make it look like it was shot on like film, and I sent you that. You went, oh, it should be like lighthouse aspect ratio. I was like, it's not a bad idea that, and that's how that happened. So that's Gary's.
I do have creative.
I don't say you don't.
Oh no, no, I do have creative.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how that became that look. And I don't know. I dig it. I dig that one. It's not one that I think about loads, but it's the first R&Q film, and I think that that's like a good start to R&Q films. And especially like with what I kind of want to do with R&Q, which is more, I don't know, just taking ourselves more seriously.
Yeah, that's what we do. Because if you think about all our heel stuff, like we did. Oh, push me up.
You froze, Gary.
Oh no! Why have your computer just gone off? See if I can call Oscar.
Oi!
Connecting. Come on.
And we're back in business, man.
Oh, what the heck? Honestly, I'm fuming, mate. I don't know what's happened. Literally just cut off. My battery was full on it as well. I don't understand why it's cut off. Hang on, I need to change the background.
Gary is part of the RAF right now.
Yeah. Mostly that audio is just silent, but you just hear me cussing. So you just hear me like say, "Why is that gone off?"
I'm genuine. What I'm gonna do, Gary, I'm gonna obviously I'm breaking the first rule of Amber Rolling, and I'm gonna be doing some editing because that's just not good. That's not good radio. But I might, from some of the interesting bits, what I might do, I might make that a separate video and put that separately and be like, when Gary cut out of Skype. Because there's a moment where I just start doing my own ASMR. Which if you go and check that out on my YouTube channel, when see if some OWF ASMR is something you want in life, and if it is, I might consider it. But I did some beard sounds, and anyway, a bit of this, Gary, a bit of.
I can't hear it, but I can't hear Oscar.
No, but you can see what I'm doing, just a bit of.
Oh yeah, I can definitely hear but see what you're doing.
Yeah. What's your opinion? What's your opinion on that? The whole ASMR phenomenon.
It's not really my thing, to be honest.
Don't you listen to it? Don't you partake in ASMR viewership? No. Yeah.
I do ASMR when we're doing our filming, like when that time when we're doing Untitled.
When we did Untitled, and the one time we've actually used microphones, and we just decided to go.
Yeah, it was. It was quite fun.
Yeah, I myself am an ASMR viewer. I think that's the first time I've publicly announced that. I do.
I kind of knew you. I kind of knew you. Listen to ASMR.
It's weird because initially there's a thing where you have to be like, oh, it's like as if you like do drugs. Like there was almost that mentality for a while, like, oh, I can't say that, or like if you're gay in the 80s, like I can't say I'm gay. What happens if people know if I'm gay?
It's just soothing though. I think it's a soothing thing.
I don't know. It's weird, like because stuff pops up on my recommendations on YouTube, and if I'm got my YouTube up with people, I have to be. I don't know why. I feel this need to be like, quick, make sure no one knows that. But why? What's the? It's not like they caught me on watching porn or anything. It's like it's ASMR. What's the? It's the thing. It's just something to relax me in. Anyway, what were you saying? Oh yeah, you were saying how Threads was the heel stuff. Heel stuff was because I said with R&Q, I wanted it to be more professional, and you were saying about how because the heel stuff. And then you cut.
I totally forgot what I was saying.
Was it about the heel not necessarily being not necessarily being serious? That was it. Because R&Q, I was saying R&Q, I wanted it to be more serious, and with heel.
Yeah. With heel, like the last few videos we've done, like well, the last we've done Untitled, didn't we? That was that the first serious thing we've done in Untitled?
For heel, I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think I might.
I'm trying to think. I mean, the end of year videos, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, but the last few videos we've done are all like being serious, and they're we ranked them the other day, didn't we? And we found out that we did
a little tournament. We did a little
a
tournament thing with them.
We found out that the serious videos are the best videos we've done.
Yeah, and even some of the ones that are a bit more goofy, we still like, but like we still like A Very Merry Gary Christmas. Like that's still one that I think we both hold quite high.
Oh yeah,
up there.
Even that's quite serious if you think about it. Like,
what I was going to say, Mystery of the Man in the Mask. Yeah, there's goofy moments in it, but it's only silly because I'm in a clearly fake mustache and I've got a fake wig and it's in the Knuckleheads world. That's the only way that it's a bit goofy. But I mean, if you almost with Knuckleheads, with Mystery Man in the Mask, genuinely, if you take the premise of the Mystery Man in the Mask and you give it to like if you take the script of Mystery Man in the Mask or whatever, because I say script because what script was there, and you give it to like David Fincher or someone like that, could be like a serious thing. Like it's a guy obsessing over trying to find a serial killer. Like that's what Mystery Man in the Mask is. I was going to say Mystery Man in the Mask, also known as the Knuckleheads version of Memories of Murder, the British Memories of Murder. But yeah.
Pretty full of
Memories of Murder. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're getting back into your South Korean phase. We'll talk about that because I do want to ask you about that in a second. But I want to just wrap up what I was saying there, in a sense. But yeah, no, I like because I think the serious stuff that we have done is some of the best stuff. And
definitely.
Behind closed doors, it has silly elements, but silly elements in the sense like it's very amateur-y. I think.
Oh, definitely, very amateur-y.
But I remember with Behind Closed Doors, I remember making that film, thinking, and Behind Closed Doors you can find on the Heel Plus YouTube channel. If you are listening to this through podcasts and things, I'll leave links below for the Heel Pictures channel and the Heel Plus channel. They're all deactivated. They're all not deactivated. They're all defunct. But it's all the stuff that I used to do, that we used to do back in for the past like 10 years now. That's all up there. So go and check that out if you want to know more about us in that sense. But Behind Closed Doors, it was my take on trying to do American Psycho. And I remember really liking that because it was like a serious story. Big Bark as kind of whatever that may be. I remember really liking that because I was like, oh, it's, an actual serious thing. Now, Big Bark is kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't, it's kind of, it's not offensive. Offensive is not the right word. It's an uneducated, it's an uneducated view on mental health is what I would say. It's, now I think I want to remake Big Bark, but I would want to do it when I'm in my 40s. Like when I've had it, I've done a bit of a life. Yeah, when I feel like I might have a grip on things. I probably won't have a grip on things in my 40s. I'll still probably be confused as fuck. But there's, by that point, I think I would be mature enough to actually make a film about mental health.
Yeah, because it's a very difficult subject to do.
What did we do? We were like 16.
Yeah.
When we did
what was the premise behind it? Why did you want to make something like that?
Well, I wanted to make a serious short film. inspired by because Chris Stuckman, he did a short film called Life of a Detective, which that was a kind of like this kind of quiet film about, you know, just a detective, and I kind of wanted to do a similar thing with basically no dialogue, of just kind of like a guy and stuff like that. And I did GCSE drama, and that was just kind of like premises that would get done in GCSE drama. It was like, oh, someone's sad and then they kill themselves. Like, that's just a thing that would, because, you know, we were all like 15. So it's like, oh, you know, just do that. And it was 2010. So like, what more did we know? So like, you know, it wasn't really much, there wasn't really much mental health awareness back then. That's a big new thing recently. It's a much more recent thing that I think people really remember, like that people think. Obviously mental health's always been a thing, like forever, but awareness and stuff like that's been more of a thing to keep in mind. I think the big kicker of that was Robin Williams' death. People were like, shit, if he, fuck, you know, because that was 2014. I think that was like almost like the big like thing when people start being like, Jesus. I remember that was when I started thinking about it a bit more.
You've got companies and all that now, haven't you?
Yeah. But anyway, but I wanted it. But so that's kind of what I did with Big Bark. I wanted to make a serious short film, because before then we did Knucklehead stuff, and Big Bark was actually filmed before Just Cause, Mason Jackson Mission, but
you don't think of that, do you?
But Just Cause got done before Big Bark did. I say that because the intent was because we filmed Big Bark on the HD camcorders, and I wanted to edit it. I think it was before I had my Mac, my iMac, my very first iMac. So I was going to just edit the Big Bark on Windows Movie Maker, but I couldn't because the footage was too big. Like the file format wasn't right for it. So I was like, I've just got this footage of Big Bark that I can't edit. So that's when I did. That's why Just Cause Mason Jackson Mission was filmed on the old standard def camcorder. But that's why I wanted to do Big Bark, because I wanted to make a serious thing, because all we did was Knuckleheads and stuff like that. And I think because when I thought about filmmaking, I always thought about serious dramas. That's why I thought, like, serious films like Curious Case of Benjamin Button and The Wrestler. Those are films, like initial films that got me like interested in looking deeper into films, and Academy Award, like the Academy Awards and the Oscars and stuff like films like that were like films that I used to watch on Sky Movies or something like that, and be like, this is like cinema, and it's like, because, you know, I was 14, so I was like, you know, and then because when all you know is either animated films, dumb comedies, or dick flick action films, when you actually like get exposed to like kind of like these dramatic films, that's when, you know, for me, that's kind of what made me start thinking about like, filmmaking, like this, like powerful stuff. And that's, you know, kind of what I wanted to do when I was younger. We did Knuckleheads because that was easy enough stuff to do, but I never looked at those
as to bang out them in days, didn't we?
Yeah, we used to. We banged out. I think we banged out 5 in a day.
Yeah,
I think.
Madness.
And I think. But when making making Knuckleheads, I never once thought of those as filmmaking. Like, they were just silly videos. And I remember, like, so when I wanted to make a film, I looked at Big Bark as my first film, and I was like, it's going to be a serious film. That's why I did it. And then that didn't get done, but Just Cause Mason Jackson Mission was then done first, which was an action film. That was a load of fun. I like doing that one. But yeah, Big Bark, man. Again, eventually we probably want to do Big Bark eventually, again, like remake that. I want to remake Big Bark again when I'm like an adult. Like, I mean, I'm 25 in close to a month now. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm 25 in close to a month. But when I'm like 40s, I want to look back at probably doing Big Bark again, and I want to actually make Behind Closed Doors. Like, I want to make a film of Behind Closed Doors, but I want to wait till the inspiration comes to me with that. And so far, I've just never had the inspiration. Just haven't had it, so I haven't felt the need to write it. My mind isn't in that space to want to write a film about a serial killer. Or like in that sense, like a stylized type of thing. Like that's just not the films I'm thinking of right now. And I'm thinking of more smaller personal stuff. I mean, Untitled was kind of like the kicker for that. Like, that was like kind of like that happened, and then the ball just kept rolling with that. And yeah, doing more stuff like the end of year videos and threads, and yeah, other stuff that I've done at uni, like stuff like that. Really, I want to like expand my catalogue as well with it all. But yeah, and when I mean serious stuff, because here's the thing, in terms of, I'm saying I want to make R&Q films something serious. I don't necessarily mean all the time I want it to be I want it to be just dramas or like really serious stuff. I'm fine with making a comedy for R&Q, but I want it to be a professionally done comedy. I don't want it to be like a goof, you know what I mean? I don't want it to be like, I don't want us to return to like VHS pirate style stuff. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. You know, I don't want to just do that stuff, or like raising the view count, or you know, that stuff's done. I think the like Mystery Man and Mask was kind of like the last goofy thing we've done. I mean, technically not. Epic Final Cut was the last goofy thing we did. Like when we filmed new stuff for the Epic Final Cut. That was the last goofy thing we did. Really. That was your last acting role, Detective Gary walking off, doing his little strut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. I want to. But yeah, I'm going to say I've been writing a script. That's all I'm saying. But I've been telling you a bit about the script that I've been writing at the moment. That's a comedy to an extent. That's like a drama comedy. So like I'm not like ruling out doing comedic stuff, but if I want to do a comedy, I want to make it more, you know, I want to make it more of a thing that feels like it's more of a professionally made film as opposed to like, and then we just goofed around. I'm fine with like having fun with films. Like we had fun making Untitled, I think. And
oh yeah, definitely.
And even doing The Muse, my uni thing, it was stressful, but there'll be times when I'll be having an absolute amazing time at it. Like I want to still have fun doing films. I just don't want to make silly, goofy films really anymore. Like I feel like that time's passed. I think I'm in my mid-20s. I want to like try to like advance my filmmaking, anything, really. So that's what R&Q it really is. It's like it's just a platform for, and it's not even just films directed or written by me. Like I said to you before, like I wouldn't mind writing a script for you to direct. Like just to see how that would be. Like I don't know, why not?
Might be a better director than as an actor.
Well, yeah, because what I said to you about this premise of if I write a script and I star in the film and I edit the film, and then you can direct it and do the cinematography for it, and that way, because it's like as opposed to me directing, writing, starring, editing, and your cinematography. Because if I'm directing and acting, then I have to be like, Gary, I want this shot. And then you do a thing. You go, is that right? And I look and I go like, yeah. It would be easier like if I'm acting. And if I wrote the script, then I'll know the dialogue, or like I'll know what anyway. And then you just direct me how you would want it. Like, I think that could be a good dynamic. And I do. And I started a script. I started writing a script for that purpose. I haven't went back to in a while, but yeah, like that's something I want to get to. But even like when it was like me, you, and Lewis the other night, we just somehow came up with an idea, which that's a silly idea. It's a silly thing, but I think it could work under the R&Q thing.
Me directed as well.
Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think that could work under the R&Q banner. Again, it's a silly idea. It's a silly premise. But I think, like, it can fit.
Work.
I think it can fit. I think it can still feel serious. To an seriously made. Like,
Yeah,
you know how, like,
I do want to make a serious film.
Yeah, but even R&Q could be a thing, like, if mates... I mean, I said this in the final Hillcast. If mates of mine in uni, if they want to make a thing or something, and then be like, okay, yeah, let's collaborate and you can make a
essentially
thing.
You're making a distribution company.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. As I said to you, I want to be the zero to low budget A24. I want to be this really, like, low budget A24, basically. That's basically what I want to be for R&Q. And that's, again, we'll just see what comes from that. Threads is the first thing to come for it.
You know what else?
Not much else really can come from it at the minute.
No.
But, you know, we'll see. We'll have to see with that.
This is a good time to get our ideas put together, isn't it, as well?
I've started writing a stage play. Like, that was the first thing. I've been writing a theatre play. I've been writing this script that I've been on about. I've started writing bullet point ideas down for another film idea that I've been thinking about for years now, but I'm starting to actually bullet point it.
Wow.
But yeah, like, that's what I'm doing uni work as well, so, like, everything's coming on top of it all. But yeah, I want to, like, I'm excited for when we can actually get back to doing something. I don't know what, because my plan was going to be this summer we were going to do something, but it's probably not going to happen.
We don't know, do we?
No, again, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see with it. But, yeah. So that's kind of what all that is. Gary, you've been getting into South Korean cinema.
Oh, yeah. We haven't talked about this, have we? Yeah, on a podcast.
No, not really, no, because we saw Parasite before we ended Heel.
But we did.
Yeah, we did.
So the last podcast we did, we didn't really
we did,
talk
well,
about
well, that, we would just talk about Heel.
Heel.
We would just strictly talk about Heel. Yeah, and with you saw Parasite. That was your first. Was that your first South Korean film?
Might be.
I think it was. Yeah. Your first South Korean film. First Bong Joon-ho film.
I don't know why I wanted to go to see it.
No, did you? No, did you see? Did you see Snowpiercer before Parasite? Yeah. Okay, so you saw Snow. So you knew Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tell you why you came to see. You were fine to see Parasite is because that same day we were going to double bill it. We saw The Lighthouse and Parasite, and you wanted to see Lighthouse. And I wanted to see both. I wanted to see both Parasite and The Lighthouse. So I was like, right, we'll just double bill it. We'll have a day in Newcastle. God, I miss those.
Soon.
I miss that and Wagamama and HMV and Tyneside Cinema. As soon as I can do that, I'm hopping on the train and I'm going to Tyneside to see whatever the fuck's there.
You don't care what it is.
Just go back to that's if Tyneside's open. Again, support Tyneside. Please support Tyneside if you want to. But yeah, so that's why you saw Parasite.
Yeah. And that's why not. I will go see it.
Was it your favourite film out of the Best Picture nominees?
Oh, definitely.
Over Once Upon a Time? Over Joker?
Do you know what? Might be.
Wow.
Really might be.
Counts as a 2020 film for us.
I always want to see Parasite. I want to see Parasite again and again and again. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it doesn't feel there with me. Neither does Joker. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's. I just love like how it was shot, the acting in it, the soundtrack. The soundtrack's just a thing in its own. It's everything about that film. Just makes me want to see it again.
Yeah.
I'm really dying to watch it again. I have to wait until the 1st of June for that.
No, not too long then. Less than a month now. Well, a month now.
Yeah.
This podcast is getting recorded on the 1st of May, by the way, just in case if people are curious about the timeline. Excuse me. Yeah.
And what else? Yeah.
Then I started to try to expose you to more Korean stuff because I wouldn't say I'm a Korean cinema aficionado because there's a few more Korean films I still don't see, but I am a fan of Korean cinema. I do like a lot of Korean films, so I thought, right, now's my time to try to get you to now you finally watch Parasite and you like it. Now it's time to get you on that. And then I got you to watch Burning next because I thought that was another good leap, like from Parasite, then watch Burning.
Can I just like add a bit on?
Yeah.
Obviously after Parasite, I went. I loved anything Korean after that. So I've got Netflix, and there's tons of like K series on Netflix, like original Netflix K series, like Crash Landed on You, Vagabond, totally brilliant shows, by the way. But definitely recommend them. So I'll just like binge them out in a week, like one after another. I'm still need to watch the ending of Crash Landing on You, but the last few episodes like a 1 hour and 20-minute episodes each, and there's 16 episodes. So I'm banging them out, and obviously when you've introduced me to more films.
Yeah, so I got you to watch Burning. That was the
Burning. Love Burning.
That was because I thought that's a good step from Parasite to Burning. I thought. Then I got you to. Then I started thinking, right, okay, now get you to watch Bong's other film, which is my personal favorite Bong Joon-ho film, and before Parasite, it was Bong Joon-ho's most critically acclaimed film. Obviously, most people think that Parasites is that's my DVD right
That's
there.
his DVD. Yeah. I still need to give him a back. I might just send it in the post to you.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't desperately need to watch it. But yeah, and what did you think of? And you watched Memories of a Murder recently, didn't you? So what did you think of that? I mean, I know we kind of briefly talked about it on Facebook chat, but this is the first time we're actually face to face talking about it.
Actually, I love this film. Honestly, it's my. To have a fair over Parasite, I hate comparing films, but I don't know. It definitely sits on you. It sits on you like Parasite does with me.
Yeah.
It's an incredible film.
Yeah. No.
There's so many people need to watch this film. If they've seen Parasite, go see Memories of Murder because it's amazing.
Yeah, well, Criterion, the legends that they are, they're releasing Parasite and Memories of Murder.
And I want to get Memories of Murder on Blu-ray when it comes out.
Yeah, sorry about this. The mic stand's being a bit of a pain here. I'm just trying to get it sorted. Seems fine. Okay, brilliant. No, I love Memories of Murder because, as you said, it just sits on you. It's one of these ones that does stay with you after you watched it. And like that ended, again, not going to ruin it in case if anyone wants to see Memories of Murder and yet to see it, I'm not going to say anything about
it's based on a true story.
You see, I didn't know that going into the film.
No.
I didn't know it. Like, it happened, and I was like, oh, okay. Then I looked, I was like, oh, so it's based, so that's, yeah. So, but don't look up anything about it if you want it. Just go into it completely blind. Go into it absolutely blind.
Which I did.
Because that ending, man, that's like one of the best endings, I think. Genuinely, it's one of the best. It's my favorite Bong Joon-ho film, but again, if people like Parasite, I get it. I
don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I like them both. I like them both the same.
Yeah, you also watch Okja.
Yeah, I watch Okja because I've got Netflix.
Yeah. Which is the Heel Film Award winning Okja.
Is it really?
It won. It's the very first one to win Best Netflix Exclusive. It's the very first film to win Best Netflix Exclusive at the Heel Film Awards. The other winners, that was 2017. The 2018 winner was The Night Comes for Us. And the 2019 one was Marriage Story. So they very interesting one. But yeah, Okja.
Definitely Bong Joon-ho's weakest films.
But how mad that it's still
opens your eyes, doesn't it?
It's still good, and it's his weakest film.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of his films, by the way. I've yet to see The Host and
I want to see The Host.
Mother, not Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen it on IMDb. I want to. Do you know what? I want to see Tokyo, but that's.
What's that?
It was a film he done, but it's not just done by him. It's done by some. It's like.
Is it like an anthology thing?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Right. Okay.
Because it says what he directed it in it.
Oh, so it's like an anthology film.
Yeah, I think it might be an anthology, but I really want to see that because the poster looks really good.
Yeah. Well.
I've never seen a trailer or nothing, so I don't know what it is. Or
yeah. No.
Tokyo sounds a bit good because we both like Asian Japanese culture.
Hell yeah, man! Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The Olympics have been held off.
I know until next year.
Oh well. Yeah. Our boy Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, very weird character. I thought.
I loved it. It was so just out there.
It was. I think it might be. Do you know what? I hate to say this, Oscar, but I think it might be his weakest role.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, nah, hang on. There's what's? Let me look on Letterboxd because I've got a list. I've ranked all of Gyllenhaal's films that I've seen.
Oh.
Prince of Persia, I think is his weakest.
I've never seen it, so.
No, you don't have to, mate.
To skip it.
Let me find it.
Prison is his best role, I think.
I would agree. It's not my favourite film of his. My favourite film of his is Donnie Darko. You can see it on... No, can you? Yeah, you can. You can see it on there. Donnie Darko, my Donnie Darko poster there. But I think his best role is Prisoners, I would agree. His best performance is Prisoners.
Yeah.
Right, I'm looking at his IMDb. Not his Letterboxd. Southpaw was... his performance was good, but... I mean, I could understand how you think about Okja. Because it is just it's just a weird, wacky role. And it's mental. That's what the film feels like a live action anime film.
Even I said before I watched it, Oscar, is this anime?
Yeah.
Is this animation?
Yeah. It feels like a live action anime, which is why I kind of really dig it. I dig it quite a bit.
But it's got the fantasy feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, that sense of wonder and adventure that the film has. That's the vibe that a lot of Ghibli films have. So get watching Ghibli, Gary. Get watching some Ghibli, because they're all on I don't think they're all on Netflix. A lot of them are on Netflix. Get watching them.
Is that Japanese?
Yeah, man, it's the best animation company. I like them better than Pixar.
Wow, that's a big statement. That's a big statement.
Yeah, they do good shit for kids and adults. And when I mean kids, and I don't mean like how Pixar. I mean, I love Pixar. Inside Out's in my top 3 favorite animated films ever. Love it. How Pixar, when they do stuff for adults, they do stuff that are like, that adults would like and they would get. I mean, Ghibli do grown-up films. Like Grave of the Fireflies is set during World War II in Japan. It's fucked up. It's not a happy film, that. And there's other films that really are more adult theme. Princess Mononoke, which was my favorite Ghibli film for the longest time, that has quite a bit of blood in it. There's a lot of I think there's a point where someone's arm gets sliced off with a sword. I think so. I mean, they do wonderful children's films as well. Like My Neighbor Totoro is an absolutely wonderful, magical film that I would show a child. And Kiki's Delivery Service is a film that I do honestly want to show my niece, because it is just an absolutely specially magical film. But they also do films that are really slow, and just really I don't know, it's really good shit. It's just really good shit. But yeah, my first Ghibli was a weird one. It was The Secret World of Arrietty, which isn't one of their most well-known films at all. That I watched that because that was the most recent Ghibli film at the time. So I heard about it. So I remember I got the DVD, expensive DVD. They're weirdly expensive for some reason. I think prices have come. Yeah, I think prices have calmed down a bit now for Ghibli, but at the time they were just weird. There was 20 quid for a DVD in 2011. So it's
it's probably about 10 at a DVD here.
Yeah, now, yeah. But yeah. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, get doing that because
once I finish.
Time?
Yeah.
What are you watching at the minute?
What am I watching at the minute? Nothing.
No, you're not going throughout?
No, I've still got Crash Landing on You to finish. I watched Memories of the Murder. I've watched Okja. That's the only ones I've really
Your next Korean film that I'm giving you.
Yeah, I know.
Whenever you can watch it. I think now you're ready for Old Boy.
I think I am ready for Old Boy.
Introduce you to Park Chan-wook, who is my favourite Korean director. I love Bong, but Park Chan-wook, man, his films.
Bong hasn't really done much, has he?
No, not really, no.
I think he's done about 9 or 10 films for me.
Yeah. But yeah, Park Chan-wook, man, his films are intense. His films are well intense. Get him an Oscar now. That's the next goal, is to get Park Chan-wook an Oscar.
What's he done? He's done Old Boy.
He's done Old Boy. He's done The Handmaiden, which is class. Yeah. He did other films within the Vengeance trilogy, which Old Boy is a part of. By trilogy, they're not related in the sense of characters don't cross over. It's just they're 3 films that he made that are all about revenge. So that's but he did Old Boy, which was the second film of the Vengeance trilogy. He did Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which was the first. I think that's got Song Kang-ho in it. Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance has. And Lady Vengeance, which is good. Slow, but it's good. And he also did a film called Joint Security Agency or something. I can't remember.
That sounds good.
Which I think that's on Netflix. I don't know. I haven't seen that one yet, so I can't comment on it. But he also did an English language film called Stoker, which has Nicole Kidman, Matthew Good, and Mia Wasikowska in it. Came out 2013, I think. I've got it. Still need to watch it. But that's the only English language film he's done. That got mixed reviews. Some people really loved it, and some people didn't like it at all. So I don't know where I would. I'm a big Park Chan-wook fan, so I might really like it. And he also did a film called Thirst, which is a vampire horror film, which I love me some vampires. Not in the Twilight variety. But yeah, that's Park Chan-wook. But yeah, I would say Old Boy would be your next Korean film. And then I think I Saw the Devil would be a good one. I Saw the Devil's one of my favourites as well, because even though I Saw the Devil it's not directed by Park Chan-wook. It's directed by Kim Ji-woon, who he's another one of these, like, there's like the three big Korean filmmakers, like Bong Joon-ho, Park Chan-wook, Kim Ji-woon. Kim Ji-woon, he did The Last Stand, which was that Arnold Schwarzenegger film, that Arnold Schwarzenegger action film.
Stand.
Yeah, his big return to action films.
I think I might watch that, you know.
Yeah, just a silly Arnold Schwarzenegger action film.
Did he play a cop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have seen it.
Yeah, Kim Ji-woon did that. That was his English language film that he did.
Right.
But
I have seen the film before he's done.
yeah, but he did this film called I Saw the Devil, which stars Choi Bin-sik, who's the lead in Old Boy, who is fucking incredible. And I Saw the Devil is probably, it's even more fucked up than Old Boy, and Old Boy's pretty fucked. Old Boy's pretty fucked up. But also Kim Ji-woon, he did a film called The Good, the Bad, the Weird, which came out in 2000.
I've seen that.
You haven't seen that, have you?
No, I haven't seen it, but it's got song. It's got song in it, hasn't it? Song
Kang-ho. Song Kang-ho's it.
Yeah, that's where I've seen it from on his IMDb.
Yeah, and that's like it's an Oriental Western, but it's crazy. It's like action comedy, but it's like it's mental. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the most unique films I've ever seen in my life.
I might skip that go.
Oh, it's fun. So, but yeah, there you go. Old Boy, I would say, would be your next.
Yeah,
go at it.
Old Boy a go.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen Old Boy, pretty much.
Yeah, just never watch the American remake.
No.
Never do. It's not worth it. It's just not even worth it. Yeah. Yeah, so you're just...
Yeah, it's watching Korean stuff, aren't I?
I've been watching some TV. Well, I went on a TV binge for a bit, because I watched Fleabag first. I went through Fleabag, which is good. Fleabag's good. I then watched Horace and Pete, which I fucking love. Absolutely love that show. And then I watched Atlanta, which is the Donald Glover show, which is absolutely fantastic. I think you would like it quite a bit. It's really good. It's got Lakeith Stanfield in it as well. Brian Tyree Henry and Zazie Beetz. Yeah, no, I really like that. And I watched, God forgive me, I watched Louis. I went through and watched Louis. Not season 5, because Prime doesn't have season 5 for some reason. What's the point? But yeah, I did that. And then recently I've been watching some stand-up stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's my and I've been working, and I've been script writing. So that's been my
quarantine.
That's been my quarantine. We're in a very interesting time, Gary, and I think that it will get to a point where we'll all feel, I don't know, it'll iron itself out eventually. Obviously, hopefully by this time next year, we would at least be thinking to ourselves, God, that was a time. But yeah, for the sake of the podcast, I'm going to call it now, probably. Just because, we can still continue bullshitting. Cause
inviting the other boy to the call.
The other boy who can't be on a podcast because he works in education.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to do that in this country.
Despicable. Despicable for him choosing a career.
I know. It would be actually a good laugh as well.
Yeah, it would be. The three of us would actually be good, but alas, unless if he changes career paths, it will never happen.
Change your career path.
Yeah, mate. It's Lewis. I can say his name. It's
Can
Lewis.
you say his name? Right.
Yeah, we mentioned him.
Right.
Because we've mentioned him when we've talked about the music and stuff for Heel. So, you know.
Yeah, change your career path, Lewis.
Yeah. But yeah, so for now, right, this will probably be the
weirdest one.
And whenever and we're rolling podcast will be done, this is how it will be done for now. It's not how I always want to do it, but it has to be. This is how it has to be done.
Mad.
So yeah, I don't usually want to just end stuff and just promote stuff because, again, the whole point, I want to try to promote less use of social media, which is what I'm still going to keep promoting. But what I'm going to say, but the promoting thing that I am going to say is, again, there will be links to the Heel Pictures stuff if you ever want, if you're just stumbling across this, not knowing anything that we did prior to this, you can see an archive that's close to 10 years of stuff.
Madness.
More so 7 years. It would be 7. But more so stuff from that. You can see podcasts that we used to back in the day. All that stuff. And you can... So yeah, I'll put links in the description on the YouTube video, on the podcast links. And that's another thing. Right, let me load up the Anchor and tell you all where you can actually watch this, if I can find it. Again, links will be in the description for this stuff as well. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on Anchor. I think there's another site, I'm sure of it, but I don't know. Oh, I'm looking at the... No, you can't go. No, we're not on SoundCloud. I'm not I think we're on Google Podcasts. I don't know. We're not on Apple Podcast. I know that. We're not on Apple Podcast. But I'm looking at the details now. The episode 0 has had 13 plays, which is not bad, I think. I think that's a pretty good sound. 69% of the listening, this is through listening, not, 69% has been through Spotify.
Oh, people like our stuff on Spotify.
Yeah. 15% has been on Anchor, which is the website that has helped me publish this stuff on Spotify and stuff. And 15% is through other. So, right on. The age demographics. Here we go. This is interesting, Gary. The age demo. 33% of the listeners are 18 to 22-year-olds. 55% is 23 to 27-year-olds. 11% is 45 to 59-year-olds.
That's our parents then.
11% probably. Interestingly enough, 50% is UK listeners. The other 50 is American listeners. Would that be Tim and that? Tim, Matt? I don't know.
Do you think? I don't know. It might be Tim.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of just any... it might be Tim. I don't know. Just any Americans that I might know. And 77% are male. And 22% are female. There you go. There's a little bit of analytics there. But yeah, there you go. You can go listen to us as well. I think that's where we're more... I think that's where we will get more of a audience. But you can actually...
Go on.
I was going to say, but you can actually watch us as well on YouTube. If you're seeing this, you're already doing so. But if you're listening to this, you can... Again, there'll be a link in the description to follow that. I don't have a custom URL for the YouTube channel because I haven't reached that. I think you need to get to 100 subscribers or so before you can get a custom URL. So, yeah.
Here's a question.
Go on.
I'll
try and answer.
When you watch / listen to podcasts,
yes.
what do you rather do? Do you rather watch the podcast or listen to the podcast via Spotify or?
If there is an option to watch it, I will watch it.
Right.
When I used to watch Collider Live, when Collider Live was actually doing it, rest in peace Collider Live, I would watch it because there would be some physical gag. They would be talking about stuff that they would be showing. So I would like to know that I'm like actually like watching stuff. But there's other but then I'm fine listening to podcasts. Like there's some podcasts that don't give you an option. Like
I'll listen to some podcasts and don't.
Like
there's no YouTube.
Like Jericho's podcast is just audio, and Mark Maron's WTF podcast is just audio, and I'm fine to do that. But if there's an option to watch it, I want to watch it. I want to watch it. What are you? What's your?
Same as you, really. If there's an option to watch it, I can watch it. Like the F1 podcast I listen to, there's no really video option for that, so I'll just like listen to it. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah.
Same
as you, to be honest.
But yeah, there you go. That's episode 1 of And We're Rolling. We had a bit of a blip.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll do something about that, won't we?
Yeah, you have your Mac on charge. Oh, wait,
it is on charge. It was on charge when it died.
Wait, what? It was charging when it died.
Do you know what I think it might have been? I think it might have been got too hot because it does. You can hear, but if the audio is on, you might be able to hear the fan.
I can't hear the fan through Skype, but
but it's not picking up on the. It's not picking up on the audio thing there.
All right.
But yeah, it's shut off now. It's shut off at like 70% or something while it was in charge.
Again, there will be a separate video of that misadventure of what I was doing between then.
Yeah, and my audio was recording the full out as well, so you hear me cussing and everything on that, and that could be its own little film.
I love that so much. So yeah, there's another reason for you to go to the YouTube channel to see what happened there. But yeah, Gary, thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
We're still going to be talking. It's not like we're going to be hanging up, but thank you for joining. I wanted you to be the first episode.
Yeah, I'm the OG.
I wanted you to be the first episode. There's other guests I have in mind that I'm gonna.
I love to see a Robbie episode.
But
get Robbie on. Get Robbie on as soon as possible.
He's gonna be the next one. He is.
Go on, son. I'm looking forward to that one.
We've already discussed it. The boy came to me and asked.
Did he really? Well.
I didn't even go to him. He went like, "Get me on this." I went, "I will." That was the plan.
I'll listen to that.
So Robbie, if you're listening, there you go.
Good man, Robbie.
Gary likes you.
Audio. Yeah, I love you. Stay safe.
We should do at one point we should do all three of us just to see how that works.
That'd be wicked. Try and get that on. Obviously when the lockdown finishes, try and get that on the cards.
Well, he's getting his own podcast mic because he's doing. He wants to do something, so we can easily do that.
Do what you just done me.
That's what's going to happen. That's the idea. That's the plan for it. There you go. Whenever that will happen, that'll be my next guest, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But yeah, this is kind of how I wanted it to be. So there you go. Just a bit of like casual chit chat about anything. Just whatever comes.
Movies, lockdown. I knew we were going to talk about lockdown straight away. Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. So there you go. I still don't know necessarily how to end these yet because, again, I used to go like, until next time, guys, we shall see you later and goodbye. I don't really want to do that anymore. But, yeah, thanks. And we're going to stop rolling now. Stop the camera.
I'm going to stop the audio.
I'm going to stop the screen recording. And I'm going to stop my audio in 3, 2, 1.